Welcome to Stoop Stories, another episode with me, Josh Herron, the CEO of Southwind, and LaDrew Murrell, our executive business coach here at Southwind. It's episode 29 today, which is exciting for us, and I've got a really good topic LaDrew and I have been talking about, and it's a concept called opportunity cost. And, not everybody understands what opportunity cost is, so we wanted to take some time and help everybody who listens understand this concept, because I think it's a really valuable way for you to start understanding your time and how you utilize it in your life. Do you want to give a definition of opportunity cost, LaDrew?
Well, I guess allow me the opportunity to be vulnerable.
Sure.
I remember in my early days here, as you're coaching me and helping me move along my career, I was the type of guy that I want everything. Mm-hmm. And then you brought this concept front and center for me and helped me gain a better understanding of what opportunity cost is. And the fact of the matter is that you can't have everything because of opportunity cost. And when you exert energy in one place, you're not exerting it in another. Mm-hmm. Or when you're focused on one thing, you lose sight of something else. So it's actually impossible to have it all.
Yes.
You have to decide by way of opportunity cost what exactly you want, and you have to understand where the drop-off will be because of the principle of opportunity cost.
So you better pick right.
You better pick right.
Because you can only do one thing at a time. And if you're doing too many things at one time, like you said, something's certain to fall off.
Without a doubt.
So let's just define it real quick. Your definition, and if I get this correct, it's let me just define it for us. That's good. Opportunity cost is the act of doing something and something else not being done because you're doing something. Okay, does that sound fair?
That's a beautiful definition.
Yeah, so a lot of times in life we get really busy and tied up with all these things that are going on. And because of that, other things that we wanted to do, we're really busy at work, so I don't work out and I get overweight. I'm really busy working out, so I don't get work done. I'm hanging out with my friends, so my girlfriend doesn't get any love. All of these things are commonplace in our lives. And really, when I think of opportunity cost, I think about how do you make the right decision? And what's the highest impact activity? And how do you select the most important thing more frequently?
Yeah, I really think it comes back to what you said. You just better choose right. Because at all times, because of the principle of opportunity cost, someone's going to be upset. And I think of, Southwind's expanding. So my travel schedule is rigorous, which might cause me to miss a game or a tournament. Or it may cause me to work late, and Hannah and I don't go on a date on our date night because I've got stuff to do. And as long as you choose right, at the end of the day, whatever cost you in the moment will be made up for by making the right decision.
Yeah, I think you're looking at this as what has the highest output? What has the highest probability of benefit? So if I am working on something that yields me small benefit versus working on something that yields me large benefit, that's probably the right decision. That's the wrong decision. You want to always try to choose and select the things that yield you the highest output, the most beneficial results. And if you don't, and you choose wrong enough times, you get put in a really poor position.
Yeah, let's talk about work-life balance, because I hear that term frequently, and oftentimes that's a topic of conversation when weighing the cost of one thing versus another.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, and I would tell you that there's several people that don't believe in that, and it really is it's depending on what you want out of life. So, like, if you want a lot out of life and you want it now, chances are you'll have no work-life balance. If you're willing to have patience and you don't want a lot out of life, then it's easier to balance, right? Because if you spend time doing all the stuff that's fun in your life, there's little time for work. And it's just a selection everybody has to make, depending on what they want. And, that's why there's a small amount of successful people. Success, if we were categorizing successful people, it would be the smallest category. Because most people don't want to, they want to have a better life. Like, they don't want what it takes to be successful, because it's really, really hard. You have to sacrifice a lot. You have to miss a lot. And because of that, like, most people don't want to do it. And I don't blame them at all, 100%. I think it's a personal choice. But I do think it's a bit of an illusion believing that you can have it all. I do believe it's a little bit of illusion to believe that, like, man, look, I can have all of this free time and do anything I want to do, plus win in like at work and make more money.
100%. Why don't you lay out for the listeners here, what is the cost of trying to have balance in your life where you turn it off?
You just get behind at the end of actually the cost is, it's simple. It depends on who you are and what you expect.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it's like the cost for somebody who wants more balance in their life. There's no cost. They just get what they get. The only cost is they don't maybe make as much money, or they don't maybe get as much other stuff as they want in life. And again, that's a person's preference. Like you have to look at your desires in life. If you do your intentional path exercise, and this is what we do here at Southwind, where we have people chart out the next 5 years of their life, and they look at it personal, professional, and family, and then they chart those 5 years out. At the end of the 5 years, if what you have, where you live, the car you drive, what's in your bank account, your relationships, if they're all like a lot more than what you have currently, it's going to yield a lot more work. It's simple. It's not like a zero-sum game where like they're like at the end of the day, like what you put into it is what you get out of it.
Yeah.
So like you have to have realistic expectations for yourself.
Sure.
And I think that a lot of times we say, hey, look, man, here's what I want. I want the biggest house. I want the nicest car. I want to take, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 vacations a year. I want to, I want to play golf every Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Sunday. And that's the life I want to live.
That's a good life.
And I would tell you that's an excellent life. What it's going to cost you in the interim to get that life is going to be significant. Like, that probably means if you're trying to do that in 5 years, and just realistically from my experience, and I don't live my life that way, so I can't tell you exactly what it takes. I can tell you right now, I haven't done the work, enough work to live that lifestyle. And I do a lot of work, So I would tell you the cost. If you wanted to live that life, this is what it most likely takes. First off, you have to do the right thing every single day. The right thing every day. Make the right choice. And you have to do it from about 6 a.m. in the morning, or call it 5 a.m. in the morning, to about 8 p.m. at night. Consistently doing the right choice. You're going to have to miss time with your family. You're going to have to not take vacations to get to the point where you can take vacations. You're going to have to save your money. You won't buy the house in the middle. You'll have to save all of your money and sacrifice from that standpoint and not get a lot of things you want, so you can have the money 5 years from now to get all the things you want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense, So as the executive business coach here, if I were to coach the listener, in order to execute this and make the right decision and do more of the right things consistently, I would say you have to be pragmatic. So when we had that conversation in my early time here, that's what I was able to do. Be objective about things and say, does this action equal me living out my intentional path? And I was pragmatic in my approach to assessing that outcome.
Yeah.
And when A plus B always equals C. And if you can be objective, you will without a doubt make the right decision consistently, which equals you creating the life you want to live. So you said it starts at 5 a.m. We talk about opportunity cost.
Well, it might start at 4 a.m.
Yeah, depending.
It might start at 3 a.m.
Sure.
I don't know, because I'm not living that lifestyle. All I know is that I wake up at 5. You wake up at 5.
For sure.
You and I both don't live that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, like, whoever's living that lifestyle, they had to make an enormous amount of sacrifice. Or someone before them in their family had to make an enormous amount of sacrifice.
For sure. So let's give the listeners a real life example. And we're going to utilize your story. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
All right. So when, I guess let's call it how old's Elijah now? Well, no, we'll go
Elijah's
with
7 years old now.
Yeah, he's 7. We're going to go with the oldest kid. Your oldest name is?
Sloan, and she's 12.
And Sloan is 12 years old. So she's been going to school for 7 years.
Yeah.
How many times have you taken Sloan to school?
Dropped
her off in the morning.
Probably I don't know, not very many. Probably twice a year or 3 times a year.
Okay, so that's opportunity cost. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Do you want to
100%.
take her to school every day?
Absolutely. I'd love to take her to school.
Okay, I want you to take her to school
Yeah.
also. However, there's something that you want in life that doesn't equal, taking her to school every day.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's an opportunity cost, and ultimately for me in my life, our family's goals and where we started and where we needed to get to, we were so far away. A lot of people, the gap of where they start and where they need to get to is not that far. Mm-hmm. And they've seen their parents model it, and they know, like, okay, I can get there fairly easily. I have these kind of resources, and it can help me get there. But when you start far away, the sacrifice becomes greater.
Yeah.
And that's probably the reason. And I think you have to make up for stuff like that. Taking your kids to school is important.
Without a doubt.
I would venture to guess that and I don't know because I haven't done a lot of that. But for a kid, getting dropped off to school by their dad is a big deal, and my kids have had to sacrifice that in their lives so that I could help them live I could get them closer to the life that they want to live
for sure
down the road, right? Which it sucks,
Yeah.
It's hard to be on here on this podcast and say, like, look, yeah, I haven't taken my kids to school. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fortunate that my wife fulfills that obligation for us, and she gets to reap the benefits in that case.
Well, that's what a team is for, and you have a great teammate in Stacey Herron. But I would also say this: I would anticipate that many people listening have the same goals and dreams that you have on your intentional path, and one element of what it takes is probably not being able to take your kid to school every day, but maybe doing it one time a year, going to eat lunch with them a couple times a year, but damn sure not every day.
No.
And, the antithesis of being pragmatic is throwing yourself a pity party and buying some bullshit and telling yourself, man, I deserve to take my kids to school. I mean, golly, is that too much to ask out of life? And then you do that action, and the opportunity cost isn't calculated, which equals you actually not getting out of life what you want.
Right.
And then throwing a fit about it, saying that you don't have enough work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of the matter is, the name of the job is the job. So whatever that is, that's what we have to do. And you've got to be willing to roll your sleeves up and create the life you want to live by way of opportunity cost and choosing the right things by way of being objective.
Yeah, man, I think about it, and as you're talking, I think about what the trade-off is. Compromise is really the trade. Like, you have to compromise things in your life.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do. And, like, this year, our business has grown a ton. Like, we've, outperformed kind of any projections that we've had. And, that makes me proud. But I also like to play golf. And this year, I've played one round of golf. I've actually played like 27 holes. I have a golf membership. I pay for it every single month. I haven't been to the driving range other than the times I went and played golf to see if I could knock some rust off. And there was a time in my life I played lots more golf than I do today.
Yeah.
But what my life is requiring of me to operate at the level that I want to operate of, it means I don't get to play. And do I wish I could play? I do. Sometimes I'd like to do that. But also, my objectives for my life are clear. And if they don't involve golf, I'm okay with that. And I can live with that. And I'll never complain and cry and say, oh, God, if I could just, I have no time to myself. My handicap is trash.
Yeah,
I can't play in the tournament today. Yeah. They invited me to play golf, but here's the deal. I ain't going because I don't want to embarrass myself because I ain't played. And so I think that, that compromise in your life and understanding the opportunity cost helps you make the compromise because that unfortunately, not all wheels are always on the ground at the same time. And the goal here is to get to a point in your life where they can be. And if you start in your life having, trying to have all of this balance, chances are you're going to live financially in a fairly average life. Yeah. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really believe that, all people have to really make their own decisions. And what's good for one person isn't necessarily good for another person. you know, I think, you know, it's cliche to say that happiness is the most important thing. I would say that that's not the most important thing. What brings you happiness, understanding that, and then doing that, that's the most important thing.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Because, you know, whatever you have in life, you chose it.
Absolutely.
You picked it. That's why it's here. You know, I think about myself. Well, not particularly. I don't like getting my chest peed on, but I actually guess I do.
Say what?
Because, yeah, say what? Well, I just had a baby. He's 3 weeks old. So guess what happens to me?
Why is he peeing on your chest, G?
Well, he's got to take a bath.
Yeah.
You know, and I was holding him like this. You know,
Yeah,
thinking
okay.
I thought we were okay. You know, we're going to the bath, and I'm holding him. Hey,
Not a good move.
not a good
Not a
move.
good
No, he has a
move.
little weapon right there.
Yeah,
It goes straight out. But
you chose that.
I chose that.
You wanted to have a kid.
Yes, you know,
that
like-
means you get peed on.
That means you get peed
I
on.
think that's a
And-
rite of passage
any-
for having a child.
Any parent has been peed on.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, if you've got a boy, it's darn sure happened.
And it is hilarious when it
It
happens.
really is. And I have to remind myself, like, I signed up for this.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like,
yeah, that's a great.
I
that's a
chose
great
that.
concept, right?
I chose that.
Anything that happens in your life, you sign up for.
Without a doubt. And you have to recognize that, even when it sucks. So, like, I mean, we laugh about it. Was I happy? Absolutely not. I got my whole entire, he puked the other day. Actually, we were on the call. I said, oh my goodness. You know, and you know, what happened? He puked all through my whole shirt. It was a lot.
Yeah,
You know, but
the
guess
whole
what?
thing.
Guess who signed up for that?
That was you.
That was me. I did that.
Yeah, it's funny. Talking about signing up for things. You know, Southwind HQ today. There's some uncomfortable situations happening here today
Yeah.
at this moment.
Yeah, for sure.
And when I think about him, I think of I just met with this guy. He came up, and you know, I took a meeting with him. I wanted to meet with him because he had the experience of growing a company exactly about the same size we are today to a number that we'd like to get to. And so I wanted to ask him questions. When I asked him the questions, you know, what can we expect? I asked him, you know, like there's a big range. Like that was impressive that you were able to grow it from where we are today to where we'd like to be. And he's like, well, you know, what you can expect is a lot of pain, a lot of heartache, and a lot of conflict. And the truth is, in like sleepless nights, he said. Mm-hmm. And the truth is, I believe him. I think that's right. And you know, it's the fact of the matter is like everything in my life that I've wanted to achieve has been really challenging to achieve. Like there's all kinds of conflict inside of it.
Yeah.
You know, and you have to get used to living in that conflict.
Yeah. Pain, heartache, and conflict.
And just understanding like we chose
signed up.
that.
We signed up for that.
I did say I did
Yeah.
want to do this, you know. I said, hey, look, I'd like to accomplish this. And I went ahead and jumped on the path and started working towards it.
Yeah.
And there's a bump in the road. Whoops. There's a slap in the face. Wow, there's a sleepless night.
Without a doubt.
There's some internal conflict there. Surprise, surprise. You know, like I assume that most people who have done what this guy has done would say very similar things, and I would have told him in reverse, man, it's probably a lot what it felt like to get to where we are today.
Without
It's just a lot more of it. That's
Yeah.
just the you know the stakes there.
Yeah, and when you choose right enough times, it equals the sleepless night because we've scaled up so big that we've entered a phase of business where, wow, we haven't been there yet, and we're experiencing some turbulence, which causes the sleepless night or the heartache or whatever. Yeah. So, like, you actually chose enough to earn that by way of opportunity cost, because when you chose what equals the sleepless night, you weren't choosing other stuff.
You know, the thing that keeps resonating to me is the question of, is it worth it? You know, like, everything that you drive, all the time you miss, you know, what you're trying to achieve, trying to do something great, understanding that there's probably no destination. And there's never going to be this final stopping point where you're going to be like, oh, there it is, I hit it. Because I've never, here's the truth. At one point, I wanted to be where we are right now, and I thought that would be all we would need.
Yeah.
Okay? And now we're here, and I'm like, damn, we're not even close. It's not even close to being where I believe we can go. Without there being any destination, is the ride worth it? Now, the man I met with yesterday, he would have told me that he said it was. And it was a lot of fun. He wouldn't trade it for anything in his life. And I guess on the other side, like, what else would I be doing? You know, like, is living an easy life a life worth living? Is living a life with no conflict? Does it allow you to feel like you have life? Is the fact of just living in that world what it's all about?
Yeah, and I think that's for each individual person to answer.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can say is what it's really about, and if it being worth it or not, it's about how you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror, especially, 30 years from now.
Yeah.
When you've done the majority of the work you're going to do, or 50 years from now, depending on how young you are listening to this.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to not have regrets. And I'm sure you have some.
Oh, without a doubt. You just want to have as few regrets as possible.
Yeah, and
right?
that's when we're talking opportunity cost.
Without a doubt.
We're talking about regret too. Because when you do something and you miss out on something that you would have liked to do and you made the wrong decision.
Correct.
You have regret. And it's instantaneous. Making the right decision is really, really important to do. And if you're looking for a compass to help you determine what the right decision is, always look for the one that has integrity and takes care of other people. And if you do that and you look out for other people and you have integrity, it's tough to say that's the wrong choice.
I can align with that. I can get behind that statement.
We talk about never living in the gray area here. We don't like that color.
No, we don't.
We want it to be black and white. Did we win or did we lose?
Yeah.
Was it with integrity or without? Was it success or failure?
Yeah.
And I would say that's an essential part of not having regret.
Yeah, I call that empowerment right there. Making things extremely clear, putting the ownership into the person's hands, saying that the outcome belongs to the choices you made, Nate. That puts you in the driver's seat, and it's extremely powerful because it's black and white, and you know whether you chose what equals winning or losing according to what you want to get out of life.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not immediately available either. Some things play out over time.
Well, success is a lagging indicator.
That's what they say. That's what I do like to say that.
Yeah.
And it plays out over time. And it's the work that you do today helps you achieve the success tomorrow. That's why it's another reason why it's so damn hard to win and be successful.
Yeah.
Because it's not an immediate gratification. The truth be told, everybody'd be successful if the work you put in generated earning or a winning at that very moment.
Oh, without a doubt.
And you could quantify how much that was. Everybody likes that game. If I did a lot of work today and instantly my pocket swelled up with cash, it's easy to be motivated by that.
Man, everybody booms in that world.
Yeah, but the world that we live in currently, it's all the work that you're doing culminates to a certain moment in time where you may have a little cash out. And there may be a little bit of, like a ta-da, here this is for you. Thanks for all the hard work.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes it takes longer than what you want it to take. But
yeah, that's work-life balance. People being tired of having to do the work for a long period of time, so much so that they say, man, I need some work-life balance.
Yeah.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah, I think it was Jack Welch that doesn't believe in that. You read Winning,
Yep.
right?
Winning.
Yeah. I mean, there's been lots of people who've talked about that. And I think, when people ask for that, I just ask them, what do they want out of life? And if what you want out of life is clear, you can more easily define the balance that you can have.
Yeah.
It may be just a little balance this year, and next year I maybe get a little bit more, but ultimately you're looking for freedom.
Without a doubt.
And that's the truth.
Apply now at Southwind. We're hiring because at Southwind, you actually don't need a balance because you live a purposeful life where you can enhance your life and the life of our teammates, and that's a life that you don't need a balance from. So. Come join the team, man. It's a really empowering opportunity here at Southwind.
Yeah,
Absolutely
first thing you need to do, though, is get off the stoop.
Please, before you go see Jeff Scott, get off the stoop without a shadow of a doubt.